So, good evening, everybody. I hope you all had a blessed day. Today, I want to talk about gang stalking, kind of like a continuation from the last time I started the conversation about some of the things that I had went through with gang stalking. I've been watching the tarot readers, the attacks on all of God's chosen people. What I'm not understanding is if you're in the same tarot business, right, of reading, why is there a battle? Why is everyone against each other? Or those for say who is coming at the other readers? People accessing my information, trying to get readings on me, my children, my husband, people trying to do magic, witchcraft. It is out of control. People do not understand that when God chose you to do something, that's His will. It's not the person's will. I can't say, God, I want to be an angel, and, He says, okay, I'm going to let you be an angel. No, God has something for every one of us to do. And, it's up to Him. It's not up to the person. It's not up to us. If God gives you a gift, be happy with that. There's something that you could be doing in the world that makes a big difference. It may not seem that big to you, but it may be needed. So all of the hate towards, someone living their life right. And I've noticed too over the years how people make fun of people that, try to do the right thing, or they don't want to get themselves involved in nonsense. And they get bullied and teased for that. Now, the crazy thing is, these people are not asking for whatever it is that you guys are trying to get from them that God gave them. I think if a lot of us took all the energy and the time that we use out of our day to try and disturb somebody else's peace, somebody's happiness, somebody's love, and somebody's wealth, if you spent all that energy trying to do good for yourself and get to know yourself and better yourself, a lot could happen in your life. You hating on somebody else's life is not going to make your life better. It doesn't matter how much of witchcraft you try to use, voodoo, candle magic, mind manipulation. It doesn't matter how much of that you try to use, especially if you're going against a child of God. It is not going to work. And the problem is you're going to have it coming back to you. So that same entity that you're trying to send to someone, or those little candle games you're playing and that magic you're playing, when you go against a child of God, that's not a good look for you, because God will reverse it, and everything that you meant for that person, that comes back on you, and sometimes 10 times fold. Jealousy is an ugly trait. People do not make themselves. People are jealous because of people's looks, or because they think that person may have, something more than them, or that they look better than them, dress better than them, act better than them. That's an issue that you have with yourself. It's not the person. You're jealous of things that you can also obtain just like that person. If you're envious and jealous of someone because of their income, there's plenty of jobs out there, side jobs, things you can do to make money if it is that serious to you. Jealousy leads to envy. And when you're jealous of someone and you want what that person has, at least you think you do, because you don't know what that person had to go through to get what they have. And I'm pretty sure that a lot of people have been through some very bad things. And I know that you don't want to, put those shoes on and try to walk in them. And they don't fit. Just because something looks good on the outside, that doesn't mean that it's all peaches and cream on the inside. People only portray and show you what they want you to see. So we all have problems and we all go through things. Just because someone may be handling it better than you, are, dealing with it better than you are, that doesn't, make the person better. People tend to think, oh, this person doesn't like to engage in negativity, or doesn't like to hang out, or doesn't like to smoke, or doesn't like to do drugs, or, whatever that person may not like, and you do. You find a problem with that person because that's just not them. No one should have to dummy themselves down to fit in to anybody's little clique or anybody's family. Or if you're around people like that and you feel like you can't be yourself around them, that's the wrong crowd for you. You shouldn't be around people that you feel you need to act a certain way around to fit in. That's not your friends. That's not the group for you. We seem to play down when people do bad these days. I never thought I would be in an age where people acknowledge hate and disloyalty like it's in style. It seems to be the style these days to be disloyal and dishonest and, to lie and play games, and the jealousy, the envy. We go against each other for reasons that's just, it doesn't make sense to go so hard for people that, you call yourself hate because they may have something more than you, or you don't like the way they dress because they dress better or they look better, you feel. So you don't like them. You never took the time to get to know the person. You don't know anything about the person. But because you see the person and you don't like the way they look, or you're jealous because you may feel they look better or dress better than you, that's an issue you have. There's no way anyone should feel insecure about themselves because of a certain person being around. You need to look within yourself and see what's going on. Where are your insecurities coming from? And that's where we get the jealousy, the bullying, the envy. That's where all those things come into place. And before you know it, now you're at the point of no return because you're so jealous and envious that you would go to any extent and any length to try to hurt someone that you feel may have more than you, look better than you, and that's not right. We all can do things to make ourselves look good. We can dress the way we want to dress. I mean, there's no limitations to, what you can be, what you can do, how you can look. There's just different ways of doing that these days. It should never get to the point where you feel like you need to go all out to bring someone down because of their spirituality, their gifts. You want to make it hard and make it bad for that person. So you lie. Like for instance, my case, I had a lot of lies out there about me, and half of them I didn't even know. But people lie. They conspire. And when you go that far as to trying to set somebody up to get hurt, that's really not cool. That's not cool at all. And you trying to do magic and voodoo and evil things against someone will never prevail. It never will. And definitely not against a child of God. A lot of you need to study your religion, because it's obvious that you're not very sure of your spirituality. Because if you were, everyone should know that when you come against a child of God, you are asking God to just, pull out war on you. That's never a good thing. We all live in the same world, and people say, I don't need anybody. Yes, you do. You can't live in a world alone, because if you could, you would, and no one else would be here. But that's not how God set it up. We're all here for a reason, whether we like it or not. We all are. And people downplay love. You don't even have relationships anymore where there's just loyalty in it, or even respect for that matter. People are very disrespectful, and it's not just men, it's both. A man can't cheat with a woman, without her. Oh, it takes a woman for him to do that. So, we lose respect from people because of our actions. And just because you're acting with that behavior of, bullying and taunting someone and harassing someone, even people in your own group would start to get frustrated with you. They may not say it, but they will. I had to cut a lot of people out of my life. As a matter of fact, I cut everybody out of my life. I had to find out that everybody was wearing a mask. Somebody was lying, conspiring. And I had said before, whatever you're trying to do, that grave that you're trying to dig for somebody else, be careful, because that may be yours. No one has say over who dies and who lives and who should have this, who should have that. That's God's job. No one has that job but him. You can't dictate somebody's life because you don't like the fact that they're going to prosper in some area of their life. That's not your business. That's not for you to judge. You find out what it is that God has for you to do. That's what you need to focus on, and saving yourself and your soul. You know, we can't go before God and say, well, God, because John was doing this, I did it with John. That's not acceptable. You have to be accountable for yourself. And God can care less what John did. He's asking you. You're going before him now. And you have to answer for that. So don't ever think that you're getting away with taunting God's chosen people. He's not going to stand by and let that happen. Now some of you have sent attack after attack after attack. At least you thought. But that's only going to reverse. Like I said, you just making it harder for yourself. And the Bible said the wages of sin is death. So be very careful when you're thinking about doing voodoo, magic, mind manipulation, all those different techniques. Be very mindful when you do that, because there's no coming back from that. If you can go that far as to conspire out of jealousy because of someone's spiritual gifts, you're becoming heartless at that point. And it doesn't matter to what level you take it, just the fact that you even thought of doing it is a problem. When you feel yourself getting to the point where, you want to try to make someone else unhappy because, they seem very happy and you don't like that because you're not happy. And you don't know what it took for that person to get that piece of happiness that you think you see. A lot of you are running behind men running behind women, karmics. And like I said, it wouldn't be any karmics if the men would, shush them off. The same with women, the same. So you have these karmics getting involved in people's marriages as well as their relationships. And these karmics are causing these men to have problems in their marriages and relationships because they're unhappy and they don't want to see anybody else happy. Anytime you feel like you have to play mind manipulation games to get someone to love you, then that's you really don't think highly of yourself. You don't. And those manifesting other people's men or husbands or even relationships. People are manifesting that because they feel like the man or the woman is taking care of their partner, so they want to get them out of the way and they want to move in and get that treatment, and it's only to be envious and to say I was able to do it or I broke them up. I mean, that really doesn't make you look pleasurable. It really doesn't. The same way you're trying to come in between those relationships and cause problems, you don't think in your relationship that someone could do the same thing to you? See, people don't think about, if I do this, how is that going to affect me? How is it going to affect the person? People don't think like that. The thought of the day for most people is, how can I wake up and ruin somebody's day? You may not wake up and say that per se, but if that's what you're doing, causing problems, trying to cause confusion, and we all know who causes confusion. That's a tactic from the devil. So you're letting the devil use you. And people go as far as to sell their soul just for money, or just to have a life like somebody else's, or because they want somebody else's life. So people really go and make a deal with the devil to have those arrangements. All along, the devil is waiting for his payment. You're making a deal with him to destroy someone else. And when that doesn't happen, and the devil comes for you to pay up, how are you going to pay that debt? Think about that too. You just sold your soul to take somebody else out. And then it didn't even happen. So not only is your soul lost, but now you belong to the devil because you owe him. And then it becomes a continuous cycle. You start doing one thing, and then you start doing the next thing, and it just goes from bad to worse. Because now you're wanting more and more also. So now you're getting more and more favors from the devil. And then you have people that try to sacrifice you. As absurd it sounds, I know. I felt the same way. People, what are we doing? Honestly, what are we doing? Why is it to the point where we feel like we have to compete against each other? We have to hate when someone is doing good. And we bully those who try to do right. And unfortunately, a lot of the times, it's family. In my case, it's a mix of everybody. But you have the karmic families.